In this video presentation, we're going to cover Pin 1 polarity marking. There's a couple of things we can do here, and this is if you don't want to use the default polarity marking. So I'm going to go select surface mount, and we'll select line grid array and fill in some numbers. Now we have an automatic Pin 1 dot that's set up in our tools options. And let's say that I don't want to have the Pin 1 dot, I want to put in my own. Well, you can go to Tools Options and turn off the polarity markings by selecting Tools Options and Drafting. And then there's we're using the nominal density level right now. And I don't want a dot, so I can say 0, 0. That'll turn off the dot basically. Save your preferences and recalculate, and the dot goes away. Now what I want to do is I want to put in my own polarity marking for this particular part. I'm going to select where I want to put my origin for the polarity marker. In this particular case, we're going to put a triangle in here. I'm going to put it right in this corner right down here. Now down here a little bit more. And then I'm going to select F2. The F2 button will hold the coordinates. You have to click first, click where you want it, and then F2 to hold those coordinates. Then you can select symbols, and there's your coordinates right there. We're going to select a shape, 45-degree triangle. We're going to do the line width of 0.05. We're going to fill it. We're going to rotate it, and then we're going to go ahead and drop it. And I can see that the silkscreen outline is too close to A1, so we're going to change its size to 0.8. And then apply it again, and you see it doesn't change the location. Now I'm going to move it over to the Y a little bit, up, up, move it over in the X, up, up. Now you see when I move it, how coarse the movements are? They're really coarse, okay? And what I want to do is I want to have a fine movement. So I'm going to select Done here, and I'm going to go ahead and zoom up on the part. Now, the coarseness of the snap grid is going to be dependent upon my zoom level. If I'm zoomed out, the coarse grid is going to be very rough. If I zoom in, it'll be very fine. So we're going to zoom area, and we're going to zoom an area around this guy. And then I'm going to go and use my select arrow and select that shape, double click on it, and now when I move it, it moves it in a very, very fine motion, very fine grid. And then I can click on Done, then Zoom Extents. Zoom Extents is also your home button. So if you happen to be zoomed up on an area, you can always hit the home button and it'll go back down to the full footprint view. Now another thing that we can do is surface mount SOIC. A very popular thing here is the use of a triangle to point to Pin 1. So I'm going to click my left mouse button and select F2 on my keyboard, and then go to Drafting, Symbols, and then select the 60-degree triangle. And I want a line width of 0.01 so I can get a very fine point on that line width. I want to fill the shape. The orientation is correct. The size, this is a little bit kind of big here. I'm going to go to 0.8 again and then drop it down. And now I want to move it away from Pin 1 because the silkscreen is touching Pin 1. So we'll move it away. And done. Now I have a triangle. Now, if I don't want it that resolution, like 0.01 is going to be a hard draw. So we're going to go back to 0.05, and I could do that. I could also change its shape. Change the shape to a square and fill it, and then 0.8 it for a size, and then apply. And now I have a square by Pin 1. Let's say it's too big. I'm going to go a 0.5 millimeter, And then we're going to go ahead and move it down. And again, the coarseness of the snap grid is going to be totally dependent on the zoom level. So we're going to select Done and Zoom Area. And then I'm still in Zoom Area here. We're going to do the pan. We'll pan around. Pan this guy up. See this? Panning. Okay. And then we'll do the select. Double click. And now my movements are very, very fine. And maybe that's where I want it. And don't worry about this little sliver here. It'll fill in when it's done. Done here, or home. I'm going to select the home button on my keyboard. And we're done. Now, let's say that I don't like that rounding. The rounding is too coarse. Of course, we got a 0.5 millimeter, no wonder. So I'm going to change it to 0.05, and then 0.05 would be the line width that I'm going to use, 0.05 line width. And that way I get rid of these arcs in the corners or whatever. I don't like the arcs in the corners. And done. Okay, now you can also take, like for instance on the assembly drawing, we can also put in there, I'm going to select diode here. We're going to select a diode. And I'm going to go ahead and put in a polarity marker on the assembly drawing layer. So we're going to select a diode and put it on the assembly drawing layer. And I'm going to keep the line width as my normal line width. This is the normal line width of my assembly drawing. 0.12, my assembly drawing. Size, orientation, centroid origin, apply. And now I have a diode on my diode. So it points to the cathode and anode. Now, if I want C and A to be my pin numbers, I have to go to Tools, Options, and in here, and change my through hole to alphanumeric. This is my SMD and through hole miscellaneous anode and cathode pin names. I'm going to go with the alphanumeric pin names. Select here, and recalculate. And then I have C and A for my pin names. Now, because of the fact that I went into preferences and I changed my preferences, it's going to remove anything that I did manually. So I would have to go back to symbols, back to the shape diode, back to the layer assembly top, and then back to the line width, apply, and then done. And now I have a cathode pointing to the cathode and an anode pointing to the anode on my assembly drawing. This concludes how to put in polarity markers.
Simplify, standardize, and automate an entire IPC and IEC compliant library. Detailed, accurate, reliable, professional. Highest quality footprints and 3D step models, clicks away. Many companies worldwide are easily generating their CAD libraries. You should too. Get a fully functional Footprint Expert Evaluation license for any CAD format and demo today. Contact us at pcblibraries.com or call 847-557-2300.